we are again. Crazy time. So much going on in the pod world. For me, for everybody. Wild, wild week. It's not only spring breakthrough week, which is shaping up to be a classic AEW week for TV. But there is that one other thing going on. You know, there is that whole situation with WCW getting overtaken by AEW on TV, longest prime time television wrestling show in the history of any Turner network. That whole thing is going down on Wednesday night. You know, I thought it'd be the perfect time. And at not one piece of me did this to shit on Eric Bischoff. Trust me, folks. But in unrelated news, Thursday morning, we get the first episode of From Crockett to Chaos, the spring of 1988, giving you a little bit of a backstory, if you will. I didn't want to just do this the second that WCW started. And what I mean by that is when Ted Turner just bought him, you know, because that is November of 88. So it's like a weird place to start. You know, it's like we're starting at the end of 88. I didn't want to do that. And I also think it's really important that we discuss what got Jim Crockett Promotions to the point of sale. And we're doing it spring of 88 with my good buddy. Man, I was shocked and very, very impressed with Jim, the JIMDB, on socials. He's on Threads. He's on BlueSky. Obviously, when you check out the pod, I've got all those links and things over there. He was incredible. First time ever doing a podcast in his life. He was just killing it, knocking it out of the park. He knew so many really important, really backstories that I didn't know because he lived it. He started watching it this time, and it was really cool to hear somebody go back and talk about, what got them into the biz. So check that out Thursday. Legitimately more excited about From Crockett to Chaos than anything I've ever done creatively in my life. Legitimately. Because we all know it ain't this show. This show is a fucking dumpster fire, but that's what I want it to be. Okay? So we're good on that front. But let me tell you about a little ditty called Collision. Buddy, let me tell you, Collision has become the most A-B show, quote unquote, of all time in wrestling for me. I mean, I can't even remember SmackDown in the early days of SmackDown being this good, to be honest. There was a lot of fucking filler bullshit. And it goes back to, what we were talking about, the whole WCW being overtaken thing. And it starts to create conversations about that era in general and how, the old heads will tell you it was better wrestling back then. And then the new heads would tell you it was fucking garbage. Let me tell you, a lot of it was fucking garbage. Okay? And I lived it. I am one of those old heads. I'll tell you, a lot of it was fucking garbage. You don't see that garbage on AEW television. The in-ring product is the product. And a lot of people are kind of not understanding that, right? Everyone, as eyes continue to grow on AEW, thanks to the Max deal, and we finally found out, through the grapevine of the internet, that indeed eyes are growing on AEW, despite all the grifter pieces of shit like that guy in Wyoming. And the best example of why they're growing is what we've done with FTR here. I loved this first segment because I loved what they did at Dynasty when they turned on Adam Copeland. We talked about that last week, and this was a great follow-up to that because they came out and they were like, listen, we didn't want to fucking kill Adam Copeland, but we had to. You're not relevant anymore. You latched onto us to try to stay relevant. And that was bullshit. You get hurt, and it's like, then we're sitting around doing nothing. So they're basically like, doing what Cena should have done and, fucking leaned into it instead of what Cena is doing right now. Well, I'm in an abusive relationship with all the fans. Ooh. Well, FTR was like, fuck that. I just hate Adam Copeland because he's an old, beat up motherfucker. And then they're like, oh, and Shivani, yeah, we heard about all the shit you were saying last week. How about you get in the ring? Say that shit to us. And Tony does. He goes in the ring, showing some nutsack here. And he's like, hey, man, the fans are booing you for a reason. You turned your back on the one man that helped you guys throughout your career. I just hope, Dax, that when your daughter comes home, all this shit about, they're talking about her dad, you just, and about how you fucking turned on your best friend. I hope you can look her in the eye. Something like that, right? So FTR immediately, they're like, fuck that. They're going for the stuffed pile driver. And Nigel McGuinness gets in the ring, and he's like, whoa, buddy. Listen, I'm an evil piece of shit, too. But Tony Schiavone off limits here. And then, as FTR's like, we'll just fucking kill you, too. Danny Garcia comes in the ring, grabs him from behind, and we get yet another shove to the ground of FTR's ally, and FTR doing the, ooh, we didn't mean to do that, Danny. We didn't mean to do that. And then they extend the hand, and I like the idea of them like, oh, we'll help you up, and then we'll kill you. Well, this time they didn't kill him. They gave him a big old hug, because they want that third in the equation. Good shit. This was a great setup, and it was a great setup to what we ultimately saw later, and we'll just go ahead and talk about it now. Daddy Magic, Cool Hand Ange come to the back, and they're like, hey, we don't like what you're doing with Danny. Me and, us two, you two, fucking in the ring tonight. We get that. Fucking Daddy Magic bled buckets. This was phenomenal fucking shit. FTR just kill him. Just kill him to get Danny out into the ring, and they're like, hey, You want to be with these loser old motherfuckers? You want to be with us? Because you'll end up bloodied like those guys. I like that. You don't have to say it in a promo. Sometimes the wrestling speaks for itself. And speaking of speaking, Toni fucking Storm, folks. What an incredible promo she's had here and become. And this was no different. And from what I understand, this was one take. And she just goes through all the women in the Owen. And I do recall we don't get a mention of Chris Statlander here. Very interesting. And we also, she's like not lost any confidence here. I like that. She survived Megan Bain, but she's back to timeless, right? These people that are like, well, now she's got to be like affected by that. Well, I don't know about that. I think we don't need everything to be Mariah and Toni Storm. We can have wrinkles here and there. And I think this was great. This was like some Carson shit. Like, just roast a line of people. And she was phenomenal here. They are just hitting a home run with Toni Storm and really the women's division in general. So, unbelievable. Next, we had Billy Starks, Jamie Hayter, again one-on-one this time, quarterfinal match in the Owen Hart Foundation Cup. Good Lord. The winner of this one does face Chris Statlander, as we know. This was what these two women do every time. These two women beat... Well, let's change the graphic. Look at me getting ahead of myself here. Yeah, so these two women just... Another one, very similar in a lot of ways to Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe's chemistry. These two, two matches now on Collision. The other one was the main event that was supposed to be another match. And this was great. These two just beat the shit out of each other. It's very much a Stardom level match to me. I know there might be some people out there like, whoa, relax. I think so. They were very hard hitting. There were fucking Germans everywhere. There were just mean strikes. Billy Starks doing dives everywhere, hitting swantons. That fucking suplex off the apron to the floor was disgusting. You could just see the air escape these women. That was fucking crazy. Starks looks like she's going to survive this thing, but out of nowhere, the Haterade Lariat just puts her down. This was phenomenal. And another example of how we have just been missing out without Jamie Hayter in the equation. Thank God she came back this year. And Billie Starks is, again, proving that she is a very, very good future star for AEW. And people forget she is very, very young. So next, we actually had the Gates of Agony. I don't have anything for them, so we'll go black because it went black quickly for Smash and Burn, the other two guys in the match. Gates of Agony whooped that fucking ass, and then afterwards, we hear them challenge Hurt Syndicate, so we've got that to discuss later in the Dynamite preview. Holy fuck. So I love Gates of Agony. I said on the first episode of Crockett to Chaos, I do believe, that I believe they could be the next Road Warrior thing. I mean, they have a great look. They're huge guys. They're way more athletic than even the Road Warriors ever were. But why not? Bring them to AEW, get the ball rolling. I think we're finally getting that, just like we finally are getting Anthony Bowens, the 5-tool player, as a single star. He had a very good match here with Blake Christian. And another guy, Blake Christian, Vanilla Baby, man, what a great wrestler. And I feel like he is just on the cusp of really breaking out. I think if they gave him just one little bit of promo time or one little bit of a character for AEW TV, I think you could see somebody getting a permanent spot. And he gave Anthony Bowens everything he had here. And Anthony Bowens, I mean, there were a couple of times I was like, are they really about to like do this and have Christian beat him? 450 double stomp, fucking crazy. But then at the end, it was the fucking was it the mollywop? Is that what he calls it? The huge fucking forearm for the win. I love that as a finish. It is believable. I mean, fuck, Misawa could have won some matches with a forearm back in the day, and I love Bowen's forearm here. After the match, he cuts a really good promo. He's like, I'm the 5-tool player. I'm the pride of professional wrestling. I did see online a lot of people like, why don't he just be the pride of professional wrestling? And I kind of feel that, right? But they're leaning into the 5-tool player thing because of his baseball days. We'll see. You know, the thing about AEW that I love is they're not scared to evolve an idea. You know, if something's not getting over, but the overall product of the thing is getting over, they'll change some things. So we shall see. I thought, again, great match. I mean, those two guys, great chemistry. Speaking of great chemistry, Megan Bayne, holy shit, what a force she has become in AEW. She gets in the ring, she kills 2 job women, and I'm so sorry. Apparently they are LMK and Kelly Madden. They had no chance here. They both get fucking squashed, and we get a double pin after a Fate's Descent onto each other. Megan Bayne's going nowhere. I mean, and what I mean by that is she's here to stay. Like, she's going away. Never. I don't even know how to put it. I'm literally speechless at Megan Bayne in every way. She is a great wrestler. She has the phenomenal look. She wasn't that bad in the promo that she did. I know it was recorded. I understand. But I keep saying, I think Megan Bayne is your top woman in AEW by next year. I absolutely believe that. I think that match she had with Toni Storm, if she just continues that momentum, and she didn't look any different here, I can't imagine anyone else surpassing her right now in AEW. She is one of those gems that TK found out in the indies. And I know she did have WWE interest, but, you know, I think she made the best move possible coming to AEW, especially considering you got Stephanie Vacour, Julia, Jordan Grace. They all just signed with WWE. She would have been absolutely lost in that shuffle. As great as she is, as you know, physically impressive as she is, I think she would have, because they have their idea of what they want right now. And she wouldn't be that for them. And WWE's not like AEW where they'll let you do your shit. And if it gets over, they'll use it. They don't do that in WWE. They got to tinker and manipulate. That's just how it is. It's not even hating at this point. It's just facts. I mean, that's what they do. And I think Megan Bayne is one of those acts that she doesn't need that. She doesn't need tweaking. She's what she should be already just like Kevin Knight. He had a banger here with AR Fox. And AR Fox, again, another guy I can't understand. Much like Blake Christian, why aren't we using this guy more? I mean, it was such a shame when he started that thing with Swerve a couple years ago. And, you know, I don't know, it was visa issues, whatever it was. I think his grandma might have passed away. So obviously condolences, way, way belated with that. But he just never got that momentum back. I thought he was a great heel with Swerve. I just thought that worked. And ever since then, you know, it's kind of the unfortunate aspect of the wrestling business. I cannot speak today. I'm not editing this shit. I never do. Okay? Because you guys need to understand how much of a doofus I really am. Man, but Kevin Knight's no doofus. He is phenomenal in that ring. And AR was a great opponent for him to just, this was an exhibition match. This was, let's do all the fucking cool athletic shit we know. And they did that. Kevin Knight, of course, hitting that flying lariat, forearm, whatever you want to call it, for the win. I love that finish. Another guy, I think he's the male Megan Bayne. I think that Kevin Knight is undeniable. Just keep using this guy, let him develop, and you've got a fucking star on your hands. And we talked already about the FTR match, so we can go through that. And that leads us to this one, the quarter-final round of the Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament. The Ring of Honor Forever Women's World Champion Athena against Harley Cameron. This was very good. I will say this, there were some definite hiccup spots in this thing. I don't know, you know, again, these two I don't think have wrestled, and if they have, I mean, I know they did the tag last Collision last week, but I don't know if they've wrestled each other a whole lot one-on-one. And, you know, we've talked about it before. Harley is still learning. She's great. She's got a great ability. She's gotten leagues better. This was not a bad match. Don't get me wrong. I just mean there's very clearly some fucked up spots here and there in this thing, and it got covered up quickly. Athena is a master performer, and she was there for all this, and you could tell she knew this match was pivotal for her going forward, and she did. I mean, even when Harley kind of would slip up here and there, she was there like, nah, bitch, let's go. And she showed her impressive strength here, just throwing Harley around like nothing. And of course, at the end of the day, she deadlift fucking powerbombs Harley, and I'm like, whoa. And that leads us to the O-face. Athena gets the win. She advances. And after that, we hear from Mercedes. And she's like, you know what, Athena, I get it. You know, you want to go all in your hometown. Well, in my hometown of Boston, you're just going to be a speed bump. I'm going to show you why I'm the best woman. And I'm going to win. I'm proving to everyone I'm better than you. This is going to be a money match. And a lot of people are mad, because they're mad they're getting it this early. I think that's silly talk. I think you need to understand that, especially with AEW, they've had a bad issue with not just going with their hot hand. I mean, how many fucking old man Phil matches did they leave on the fucking table? We never got him versus Kenny Omega. We never got him versus half of the fucking guys on the roster. A lot of that is because, of course, Phil Brooks is a fucking broken man in every sense of the word. So he was just injured or fucking boohoo facing in the back. But either way, we didn't get those matches because we were too busy giving other bizarre matches to the guy that nobody cared about. And I commend Tony here for going, nope, we can fucking wait. I get that, but we're going to do it now. We're going to set up an angle because I fully believe there will be fuckery, but we'll get to that in a minute. Because the main event of Collision was another fucking banger, and this was the men's Owen Hart Foundation quarterfinal. The Alpha, Konosuke Takeshita, taking on Brody King of the Hounds of Hell. This was phenomenal. Of course, the winner of this will go on to face Will Ospreay on Wednesday in Boston. This was great. I mean, this was exactly what you would expect. Brody showing that athleticism, doing dives on this motherfucker. There's a Death Valley driver on the apron to Takeshita that looks fucking brutal. And this was all about chopping down the redwood that is Brody King. Takeshita spent most of this match nailing him with knees and strikes to the head. Brody just kept going. And at one point, he just fucking hoists this guy up in the air and hits a blue thunder bomb. I think it's over. It's not. Brody then fucking throws up Takeshita, hits the greetings from Asbury Park he does, called Dante's Inferno. He can't get the win. This becomes very quickly a New Japan epic sort of match. And just as you think, man, Brody's fucking unbelievable, we get more striking, pile drivers, deadlift Germans, lariats, near falls everywhere. And then it takes like 4 straight running knee strikes from Takeshita to finally beat Brody King. I think this was a great way of, as much as I don't like that he and Buddy Matthews and even Julia Hart, because she just did the job too to Mercedes at Dynasty, as much as they're doing jobs, and I don't like that because I hate that they started this Hounds of Hell thing so hot, got a lot of interest, and then it's just kind of become, okay, the fucking heels that lose a lot. However, this was a great way to do that. Brody did not look weak here, and I hope it forces him and Buddy to come back as a team and hopefully challenge Hurt Syndicate, because that to me is the money match. But Takeshita, holy shit, him and Ospreay is going to be wild, and I believe that puts us perfectly right into the Dynamite preview. I think that will open the show. The hottest way to do it. Also, you look at this card, it's like, fuck, what else is there to throw up there? AEW starts their shows hot. It's usually a main event quality match. I can't think of anyone better than Ospreay Takeshita semifinal to see who goes on to Double or Nothing in the finals. Holy shit. I mean, I think Ospreay gets the win. I've been pretty steadfast that I believe Ospreay is going to win the whole thing. I'll get into why when we get down that road. I mean, these two, another great chemistry, right? Even Ospreay's debut in AEW against Takeshita at Revolution, and it was phenomenal last year. I expect that here as well. They're going to make this a special show, considering all involved, of course. The whole LOL Eric Bischoff grave dancing that is occurring. This will be phenomenal. So I've got Ospreay there. Then it was finally made official, the Tag Team Championship of the World. Hurt Syndicate against Gates of Agony. This will be great. I think this will surprise people. I really hope Gates of Agony have a impressive performance here. With that said, of course, I do not think they end up with the titles. This is a good little match, though, and a great showing. Like I said, I hope for the Gates of Agony. I really see high hopes for them. And, the Hurt Syndicate, why not keep that rolling, right? We could do single stuff with Lashley or Shelton, but their money right now is a tag team. So, I think they beat Gates, but I think it's going to be a competitive, very impressive match, and I hope they shock people. Trios, world titles. Of course, we know Pac injured. Of course, the world champion Moxley doing Moxley things again, stepping in when he needs to step up. He will be taking Pac's place with Claudio and Yuta to defend those trios titles against the Ops. My favorite little weirdo group right now. Of course, my favorite wrestler ever, Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. I mean, this is going to be fucking insanity. And it's also Joe against Moxley in a high level again for really the first time I can think of in AEW. I hope for a title win. I think it does happen here, and maybe this will be the moment that Yuta is the weak link and they finally either turn on him or he turns on them. I do think this needs to be a significant story beat. I think this needs to lead to the very end of Death Riders in one form or another. They've got to get these belts off them. I feel like, the joke was, until very recently, the trios titles, those are belts. Like, they actually defend those. I thought that was part of their gear. I think this would help those trios titles look a little better. Put them on the Ops, and the Ops are hot right now. People are all about it. I'm very excited for this match. I expect a lot of physicality. I expect people, maybe even some hard way blood, folks. That's what I think we're going to get. We're going to get a fucking beat down. And that leads us to maybe the most intriguing part of this show. And it's a show where we see Athena versus fucking Mercedes Moné. And that is who will be the wild card. The final entrant in the Owen Hart Foundation Cup that faces Hangman Adam Page. And there's been a lot of names floated out there. I know I've been on this show 500 times saying, Josh Alexander's coming. Most likely it will be him. Either way, I think Hangman wins this because I think it would be silly for him not to. They're clearly putting him in a very marquee position with the Young Bucks thing, with Swerve, with the whole situation right now in the main level of AEW's story, that I think he's got to go on. I think him and Ospreay absolutely is going to be the finals of the Owen this year. But it's an exciting thing, right? The whole idea of the wild card, because it gives us that what if, like, who could it be? This guy's available. That guy could be available. So I like that. Kudos to AEW for that. But the main event, good Lord, I hope, is this one right here. Whether it is the last match on the card or not, it is the main event of the show. The hometown hero, Mercedes Moné, against Athena. Champion versus champion. Of course, people are crying, ooh, none of the belts are on the line. It's for the Owen, folks. It's for the Owen, which is their fucking Royal Rumble. Okay? You get a world championship match if you win this whole tournament. I think these champions would rather add some gold than have to defend theirs. It makes sense to me. I think sometimes that doesn't make sense. I think in this instance, it does. And like I said, I think it's time, right? You know, everyone's been clawing for an Athena AEW run again. This is the chance to do it at the highest of levels. I do think Mercedes leaves with the win because I think the Renegades will come and help her. She definitely put over Robin Renegade, on Collision, I believe, not too long ago, and said, you know, she had guts and she cared and she had more inspiration or whatever. And so I think that that's going to be a thing. I think the Renegades are going to be Mercedes lackeys, and that will, of course, lead Athena, the babyface, to rise back up, look strong, you know, hopefully drop the ROH title at Supercard or something like that, and we get a full Athena in AEW scorned. And we heard that. That was a great promo after Collision where she said, you know, hell hath no fury like Athena scorned. I like that. I think they're going to go with that, and they're going to make her very scorned in Boston. I think she gets screwed. I think she freaks out, and I think we get a beautiful angle leading us into All In, because I think that's going to be the big women's match. Whether that's for the World Championship already or not, or it's for the TBS, I don't think it matters. These two women are at the very top of their game, and for that to be going on while all these other women are at the top of their games, right? Toni Storm's the world champion. Megan Bayne, Chris Statlander's looking great. Thunder Rosa looked better than she has in ages the other week. This is a great, Jamie Hayter we just talked about. This is a beautiful time to love women's wrestling and also love AEW women's wrestling. So that is what we have for you this week. Holy shit, a lot of things moving around. Oh, and by the way, there's this other fucking show this weekend called WrestleMania. I don't know if you guys know about that. Probably not that important. There's a guy, a failed YouTuber on there. There's a couple old guys, and you know, of course, Kevin Owens isn't even on the show. So there's not really a whole lot to watch over there, unfortunately, but you know, if you like that sort of thing, if you enjoy authoritarian governments, then you'll probably really like that show. So there's that. And until next time, of course, as I said, please tune in to From Crockett to Chaos. Can't even say the fucking name of my show. There you go. That's the level of dumpster fucking fire this show is. I'm just excited. Okay? I'm excited. It's a big week. And until next time, do a little ditty for Uncle Eric.